this conversation with Kim Rogers, the Worm Queen, which is a nickname she has earned and loves and is very worthy. You're going to hear me in this interview go through my process on accepting the fact that me, you, and all of us are probably full of worms and parasites. And that's okay, because actually all creatures on planet Earth are, in every culture. Parasites are a thing that is dealt with, except for some reason in kind of these Western cultures. So I had to have my own sort of reckoning that I'm probably one of the 95% of humans on planet Earth that's got parasites, and I'm looking forward to cleansing them out of my system, seeing if I can get to the root cause of some symptoms and maybe just feel a little better. I think that's always a great thing for health coaches to contemplate with their clients, which is, what if you could feel better? This kind of idea of clearing the decks and setting the body up for, diet, lifestyle interventions that we know work, but they'll work better in a body that is optimally functioning. So anyway, I think the parasite cleanse is interesting. It's something I've never thought about before. I've never tried. I've never done. I feel like I turned a very blind and deaf eye to the whole idea of it because I was grossed out by it. And Kim does an amazing job of just like normalizing this whole conversation. So I'd love to introduce you to Kim Rogers. She spent over 20 years working inside the Western healthcare system. She was authoring national certification exams. She was advising health boards, and she was teaching in colleges until her own health crisis revealed something shocking. Her body was infested with parasites. And after years of being dismissed by doctors while battling endometriosis, mold toxicity, Lyme disease, and extreme fatigue, Kim took matters into her own hands. She discovered that worms, candida, and heavy metals were silently wreaking havoc on her health, and no one in conventional medicine was talking about it. So now known as the Worm Queen, Kim has gone viral on TikTok and Instagram for sharing exactly what she detoxed. Think visible worms, mucus, and more. Her raw, unfiltered content has reached millions, pulling back the curtain on a topic most people are too afraid or too grossed out to talk about. As the founder of Rogers Hood Apothecary and creator of the Parify kit, Kim is waking people up to what may be living inside them and giving them tools to cleanse and heal. Honestly, very cool, fun, fascinating conversation. Buckle up and enjoy the ride with me. Please welcome Kim Rogers. Hi, I'm Erin Power. I'm a health coach, a health coaching educator and mentor, and your host of Health Coach Radio. This podcast delves into the art, science, and business of health coaching. Whether you're aspiring to land a coaching dream job or to embark on your own entrepreneurial adventure, we cover it all. Our mission is to help you grow your career, elevate your income, change the lives of the clients who need your help, and leave a lasting mark in this rapidly growing field. It's time for health coaches to make an impact. It's time for Health Coach Radio. Hey, Kim.
Hi, Erin.
I'm really nervous for this conversation.
I hear that every day. Everybody that gets to talk with me, they're like, oh, God.
Okay, good. I was like, I thought about it on my walk. I was listening to some other podcast interviews you had done in the last couple of days on my walks, and it's like, uh-oh. Why am I nervous? Why are we nervous about this? Like, why is this so common for you to encounter nervousness?
Well, they're a frequency and they're caught, right? So they're a live frequency inside of your body. They have their own being inside of your being. And that's a really weird, creepy thought that there's something or some things that are alive in our body. And so for people that don't understand their body or that are just starting to understand the human body, it's an uncomfortable thing. One, it's your mind and your ego going, how did I not know this? And two, it's them saying, you caught me. And so now you got to figure out how to get rid of them, and they don't want to go. So they're going to put up a defense mechanism of be scared, be freaked out. Don't do that. You don't need that. You're being lied to in your own mind because they've hijacked us. It's a weird thing. I just happen to be able to have some processing time over years of realizing it, where a lot of you guys that are meeting me, you're like, what? And so I had time to process it, but it was on film. Everyone can watch me process this.
Yeah. Okay. So they we're talking about are worms.
Worms,
Worms. We're talking about.
parasites, and worms. Yeah, that's the they.
Okay. And so it's interesting because it's interesting we kicked off with this because I'm listening to some of the other conversations you've had on podcasts. I'm reading through all your stuff. I'm learning about you. I wrote down in my notes app as I was walking yesterday. This is what it literally says. Mind control, question mark, question mark, question mark. So my nervousness, the way I interpreted it was, oh my God, I'm going to find out that I have worms.
Yes.
I definitely have them. Like never mind finding out. But what you're saying is that and the worms are making me scared so I don't do anything so they can
Right.
stay put.
Yeah. They immediately know because they're in you and they create a community with you. And so as soon as they're found out, they're telling you this isn't a thing. This is a lie. Be in denial. There's no way this could happen to us. We're a first world country. Like all the things that you hear, right? They're gaslighting you. And I've had people, because we've sold so many of our kits over the world, that actually, as soon as the kid arrived on their doorstep, they passed worms. They didn't even have to open it. And some people open it and pass worms because of the smell, like an essential oil smell. And the worms start to feel inhospitable in your body. So they're going to push themselves out because they don't want to die and they want to leave their eggs on the way out.
I'm going to pass worms after this conversation.
Probably. I have that frequency. I don't know. My friends, all that are around me, though, one of my friends hadn't even started the cleanse. She goes, my stomach hurts just hanging with you. And I'm like, well, I mean, that's not fun.
So, you just use the word inhospitable.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking about that a lot too. I've been thinking about worms a lot, not as much as you, but a lot these last few days. And, I was thinking about it in terms of, well, I'm a good host. When people come to my house, I make the home nice. I bring in all the goodies and treats and sundries. If I wanted my guests to leave, how would I make my home inhospitable so they leave on their own?
Mm-hmm.
Is there a way to make your body inhospitable? I mean, obviously through cleansing protocols, which I definitely want to talk about, your protocol specifically. But I guess maybe my question is, how have we created the hospitality? And what other things can we do to make our bodies inhospitable?
We eat all the bad foods, right? And we sit where our bodies aren't really in a constant movement anymore. We're not out in the sun like we were back in the 100 years ago. We've really become great hosts because we're eating the sugar, we're eating the fish, we're not moving our bodies, we're not out in the sun, we're not doing the things we used to do, and we're not cleansing. I mean, that's a huge component that's a miss from the last 101 years.
Right.
Is the cleansing part.
Yeah, which, it's interesting. You brought up fish, you brought up cleansing. When you open up Instagram and it serves up a video, but just for like 1 second and then Instagram refreshes itself and you don't see that video again. Have you ever had that happen?
Uh-huh.
So a few weeks ago, Instagram, I opened it. It was a video of a woman on a podcast or something. I don't even know who she was because it went away. And she said, the parasites on sushi fish are actually visible to the naked eye. And I was like, what? And then it refreshed. I was like, what? And I haven't eaten sushi since then.
Oh my gosh.
And then I got down this sort of rabbit hole, or I guess wormhole.
Wormhole.
It's like, what do you mean? Like Japanese people eat sushi all the time. Asian cultures eat this all the time, but they're also cleansing.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And
they're using the anti-parasitic foods to eat with the parasitic type of foods. And 10,000 parasite eggs can live in 1 square inch of raw salmon. It's normal. That I think that's the thing that's the hardest for people to realize is that this is normal. They're here doing their job. They're decomposers and they break things down, parasites and worms. And then we're out here eating things that like have somewhat been more contaminated than normal. Right. And so that's kind of where we're at. We're on this fine line. We're in a fine dance of all of the environmental toxins that are just kicking our butts. Our bodies don't know how to process it. They're accumulating in our bodies. We're not changing the oil like we do in a car. We're not giving it the good gas and the good oil. We're not doing these things anymore. That's causing us to have problems. And so giving your body just a little bit of a chance is really what this is. It's not going to stop parasites and worms from being out there in society, but the knowledge base around it in the wellness community needs to be more. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing, because we need more knowledge around this. You can sit and do all the right things and be the healthiest, most active person, but the parasites don't care about that. You're still feeding them, you're still giving them energy, right? And so you're trying to stop them and make them unhospitable to leave, and then they're like, oh, I don't want to stay in you if you do happen to eat something that has parasites high levels in them.
Oh. Is there any upside to parasites? By this I mean, is there like a point of diminishing returns? Like, after this certain threshold of parasites, I'm good, and then beyond it, it gets weird, or parasites always just like not good?
In my opinion, I'm the 50% that say they're not good. There are some people in this realm that do think that they're good to have, and I'll say why, and so that you can kind of hear both sides of everything. It's important for you to understand that some people think that they're good, and some people like myself think that they wreak havoc on our bodies, including myself. I was very ill from them. So the ones that think they're good, it's because they can absorb 6 to 8 times their weight in heavy metals, bacteria, mold spores, and viruses, and they encase them in this thing called a biofilm. And so it's a hard shell that the environmental toxins are inside of, that the body has basically created so it doesn't absorb back into your body. That causes you more issues. The problem is that if you're not controlling the way that those parasites are unalived, controlling the heavy metals and controlling the bacteria that will drop, you're going to make yourself sicker. So by going in and doing a parasite cleanse like Parify, you are controlling the environment so that you know that when you unalive or kill the parasite or that environmental toxin, that all of that's not going to reabsorb back into your body, causing you more problems. So there's kind of a way you can look at it in both aspects. Are we constantly in the thick of it with all of these things? Yes. But do you want to control it a little bit better in order for you to not continue to get sick? And that's what happened to me. I didn't control it. I just did some random parasite cleanse off of the internet that didn't have a binder, so I didn't bind. The heavy metals started to affect me and my husband. We had mold poisoning. So, I mean, there were so many things that happened while I did my first few cleanses. That's what led me to be like, we need a series, we need a kit, we need a cleanse, we need, these are the ways that we should be doing it. And I come from Western medicine. So I'm not just some random chick that's on the internet that doesn't have 2 healthcare degrees and ran 25 medical colleges. I did. I've been in this world for over 20 years. I just happened to get really sick with mold, parasites, and Lyme. And so I just took my pain to purpose to help other people understand why you have to do the things you have to do to keep your body healthy.
Got you. But why? I mean, you got really sick. You got really sick. Really sick.
I almost died.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What's on the other end of that spectrum of symptomatology, shall we say? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I always think about this because I feel pretty good-ish. Like, I feel great-ish. I don't know. Possibly I'm carrying some symptom that I've downregulated my sensitivity to, and I'm just living with it. Do you know what I mean? Like, what are sort of the little entry level symptoms somebody might pick up on?
Grinding the teeth.
Yes.
Skin issues. Digestive issues. Insomnia. Craving sugar and salt. Drooling at night.
Okay, so I have to pick your brain because I have a holistic nutrition diploma. I went to holistic nutritionist school. So I learned this stuff and then I promptly forgot it.
Right.
Because it just wasn't in my wheelhouse. I kind of focus on metabolism stuff. But okay, specifically, tooth grinding, drooling at night, and something around the full moon. Those are some symptoms. Can you explain those three specifically? Why teeth grinding? Why drooling? Why the full moon?
They hijack our nervous system. So the way that our bodies process the difference in the way it should be at a homeostasis level and the way that it is when we have an invader hijacking us is it's going to outwardly say there's something going on, what's going on. And so they actually are also stealing nutrients like magnesium that helps calm the nervous system while you're sleeping, and calcium. And so your body isn't able to regulate itself because those nutrients are gone because they've absorbed them. And that is your body's way of saying something's going on as you grind your teeth. And I was a huge teeth grinder. I have a night guard. Like I soaked it was a retainer, and like the joke is because our water was contaminated in Hoodsport. So that's where I got a bigger co-infection with my Lyme, because I was soaking my retainer in the worm water, where I wasn't drinking it, but I was soaking it in the worm water because our water is contaminated. It's worm water. And then the full moon is a huge correlation because they steal our serotonin. And during the full moon, your serotonin increases and your melatonin goes down. So the reason why everyone goes, oh, people are crazy during the full moon is because their hormonal chemical imbalance is legit. These things are hopping on the serotonin river, regaining new territory in your body to create new communities so that they can live on. And they're doing that via the serotonin river, eating it, making you feel crazy. So your symptoms go up and your normalness goes down because these things are in a heightened state. The French actually say it's 3 days prior to the full moon is when they start to dislodge themselves, and then over the full moon. So if you're going to do any sort of Parify parasite cleanse, you want to do it 3 days prior to the full moon and then over the full moon, because you'll get more. Now I just do it whenever. I know the full moon is there. I'm really aware of it. Sometimes I'll do a 5-day stunt over the full moon just to kind of get in there and get after them. If I'm ever feeling crazy, I'll grab my kit and do it. But just do it whenever. That's really what it is. But there is science behind why the full moon makes you feel so crazy.
Wow. Interesting. Gosh, I'm actually envisioning the inside of my body as a little universe. A universe, a whole self-contained universe that these parasites are just living their lives and doing their things and experiencing the full moon. Like that's very meta to contemplate. Like yeah. I am the universe and I'm the environment.
You are the universe. And I think we would not feel so taboo about the subject if we could really cut ourselves in half and open up and be like, okay, so this is what mold looks like, right? Because mold grows on the walls. It grows just the same in your body. Parasites that you see all around, that's what's in our body. They're small, they're big. They like to live on the side of our intestine, our veins. Like hookworm is very skinny and lives on the side of the vein, absorbing iron, causing you to have anemia, and can cause you to have slower speech and sometimes a little accent. That's what happened in the South. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Wait, what? That's how a Southern accent came about?
Yes. Yeah. Go watch Joe Rogan. He talks about it. If you type in Joe Rogan hookworm, he'll talk about it. I've watched so many Parasite podcasts. It's, this is what I do every day, but this isn't what I used to do every day. This is just now what I do every day.
You are the worm queen.
That's I am the worm queen. Yeah.
So it's interesting because, you can go through life and myself and my audience here, health coaches, we are all, to some extent zealots or dorks, dweebs, nerds about health stuff. Mm-hmm. And, you can go through your life thinking diet, exercise, mindset, lifestyle, sleep. I got it. Check, check, check. And then somebody says mold or like contaminated water or parasites. And you're like, what?
Yeah.
What? No, I thought it was... Like to me, I find this overwhelming.
It is a little overwhelming. It definitely is something that's outside of the box. And I definitely see our wellness community that we're all in struggling a little bit with it. I get a lot of messages that like, is this legit for real? But when you look at what I've been through the last 4 years, I've actually filmed myself every single day for the last 4 years. You can watch me getting better by doing all the things that I talk about. So I think we all get stuck in this indoctrinated box thinking that there's no way, if we didn't learn it, we didn't know it, that it could really be true. But other countries do this. And when I say these things, people realize other countries do this. Amish do this. They parasite cleanse. They know when it's time to cleanse. They have their own protocol. It's very similar to ours. And the Mexico, they deworm using a synthetic, and some of them use herbs. Jamaica uses a herb called the bush, and they drink it every month because they're surrounded by water and they know that seafood has parasites in it. So, and that they're mercy of the meat that comes into their island. So if you think about that in a bigger picture, that like we're just this little small United States or Western medicine country that's never really learned about this because we had a different sense of learning 101 years ago, got hijacked. We're in this world of unknown, yet that's all pointing to foundation is getting rid of parasites in your body, getting clean water, making sure that you clean the soil, and then you build your house in order for you to have a solid structure. And I think we just have to go back to the roots, literally, and say, how else can we clean our body? Then all of these other nutrients and supplements will actually follow suit of what needs to be done.
Got you. So, okay, so this is, we launched into this, like, I love it. I just love it.
We just went right in, Erin.
We did.
Well, no introduction. We're just here. Like, we're telling everyone.
Okay, so but like we've uncovered a few things. So, you know, one of my leading question was, which I haven't even asked it yet. It was, why do you think talking about parasites still makes people uncomfortable? And the answer is, well, the parasites, first of all, are controlling your mind. Secondly, there's a purity sort of narrative that in our first world country, like we don't have to do it here. We live in a clean country. What else? Give me like more reasons why this is such an uncomfortable topic for us, if anything else comes to mind.
Well, we think we know everything, right? We think because we're a first world country that our water source could not be contaminated, that our food supply is perfect, that heavy metals won't affect us, that having parasites is dirty, that it makes us not really a first world country, that other countries have problems, not us. All of these things have been indoctrinated into us over our lifetime. I'm 46 years old. This is what I've heard my whole life. In the medical field, not in the medical field. I would never have written about this. In fact, I didn't, because I wrote a lot of curriculum out there in the real world. I taught lab technicians. They get 3 minutes to look at your stool. If they don't see any parasites in it, move on. Mark it as no parasitic infection, yet not in lieu of. There are so many ways that we have been brainwashed in a sense to think that this could never happen to us as humans here in Western medicine countries. And then when we go to the doctor and we say, is this something that could happen? Like I did years ago, I was gaslit to think there was something that was crazy about me, to think that I could catch a parasite and that some of my symptoms, in fact, could be a parasite, when in fact my symptoms were a parasite, mold, and Lyme, and I should have never had a hysterectomy when I was 29 years old with no children and 13 surgeries. That led me down to where I'm at now with my own health journey. So when I say that, like, if you can go in and do a cleanse and in 30 days some inflammation is gone and you're feeling better and your brain fog is gone, then the environmental toxin that was attacking you was the problem. And you don't need to go to some extreme. You really just have to work on how you look at your wellness. And it might not just be, well, I've changed. Okay, I changed all of my food. I changed the way I did my life and I still wasn't better. Right. I was a little better, but I wasn't at where, oh, well, after a year and a half, I was physically doing everything I could. Prior to me getting sick, I used to snowboard. I was a roller derby girl. I worked 80 hours a week. I traveled every week for my jobs. I ran 25 medical colleges. And then I got sick. What made me sick? You can't tell me the root cause of what made me sick. All of a sudden I declined. Not good enough for me, right? So I did all these things to change, and it was just one deworming situation I needed to do to get myself back into a situation where I could think straight, you know?
Yeah. It's an exciting time to be a health coach. Scientists are uncovering the mysteries of the human microbiome. We're now gaining clarity into complex gut health issues we didn't even know about a decade ago. This means it's also a great time to become a gut health expert. Primal Health Coach Institute's Human Intestinal Microbiome and Health and Disease Specialist certification is for health coaches who want to help people heal the root problems of many of their health symptoms and conditions. A recent survey spanning 73,000 people across 33 countries found that nearly 40% of adults suffer from a gastrointestinal disorder. As an expert in gut health, you can offer unique programs and services to clients looking to manage or reverse a diagnosis such as an autoimmune disease, irritable bowel syndrome, or type 2 diabetes, or those who wish to improve their overall health. Gut health expert, cardiologist, and best-selling author Dr. William Davis teaches you everything you need to know about the human microbiome, including coaching tips to give you the confidence and credibility to support your clients and help them heal their guts, sleep better, gain more energy, and enjoy stronger immunity, balanced mood, smoother skin, and more. Find out more about how to become a gut health expert. Visit primalhealthcoach.com. So this is a really powerful story of self-advocacy. And I think about self-advocacy a lot. You know, I'm a health coach. I'm an unlicensed health professional. And I really like myself and my clients and everybody in my life, every human, to trust their licensed healthcare providers. You know, we have to go to the doctor. We have to go. We have to. Your story of self-advocacy is tremendous. You quite literally didn't accept what was, well, did you though? Did you accept it at first for a while until, and went down the traditional path until
Parts
it was like,
of it, yes.
okay.
Parts of it, for sure. I mean, I followed what they suggested because my endometriosis was so severe. So I followed it, right? And I did what they said to do. But in the back end, I still questioned them. So I went through quite a few doctors because I would question, well, what's causing this to be inside of my body? And they wouldn't give me an answer. And so I would, okay, well, if you can't tell me the slightest answer on this, then how do I trust that you're going to have my health in your top priority? And so that's kind of, to answer your question in a sense of what you're saying, is that's why I don't require a practitioner or anyone to try the Parify kit. Because if you take one of my kits and you start to feel better, you can take that to your doctor and say, I'm feeling better with just taking these herbs, right? And you don't need their permission to take something and put it in your body. You don't need permission to have sovereignty over your own body. That's the part of what's so great about our country, is that it is one thing we have is sovereignty over our own bodies. But you are required in life though to advocate for yourself. And if they're telling you something that doesn't feel right, you can ask the question, and then if their response is not what you want to hear because you feel confident what you're saying, you go find another doctor. That's what's great about where we're at in life. Yeah. You know, it's that we have that option. Find people like you that are here to teach us about wellness.
Yeah. Cool. That's so good. So like the thing is, I say this to my clients a lot of the time, you know, whether it's your doctor or your cousin or your friend, if somebody says, oh, you know, I'm trying to think of an example. If somebody says, oh, like I think when I went to the doctor and the doctor said I was pre-diabetic, and I was like, what? How? Oh, it's just something that happens. No. If you can't actually answer that from a mechanistic perspective, I'm out. Like you have to be able to answer the why. Don't just saddle me with the diagnosis or the concept without giving me some mechanism. But the thing is, in the healthcare provider patient relationship, it just feels very subordinate. Like I'm not allowed to ask why, but we should ask why. And if they can't give you a satisfying why, move on.
Yep. Move on, but also look for yourself.
Yeah.
That's the part that we all have not been taught, right? Is I say we, but I've always been this way. I've always questioned it. My mom was chronically ill. I became chronically ill. I thought, oh, it's just a gene of chronically illness. No, man, it was mold that got transferred from my mom to me. And I was born in mold, and potentially parasites because she also has them that was transferred from her to me. So it was a gene that was transferred like this. But I'm not willing to accept it. You should not be willing to accept it. There's so many resources now out there, and the internet is so vast. And I see that in society, specifically in 2020. I was very angry by the way that it all came about. And so that's really a driving force for me, because we should always have sovereignty. We should always be able to advocate for ourselves, and we should never be treated badly when we do, because at the end of the day, this is all we get here right now in this moment. You got to lay down with yourself and think, did I do everything I needed to do today for my body? Did I do everything I needed to do today for myself and my family? And if you are feeling like you didn't, or that there are other answers, then you should go and find them. And they're probably out there. I mean, that's all I did. I'm just a really good researcher, and I just dug deep into this wormhole.
Yes. Wormhole. We're gonna keep saying. Yeah, I'm so sick of hearing about rabbit holes on podcasts.
I know.
You're gearing up for the wormhole. Okay. So I do desperately want to talk about cleansing, but also I feel icky about the conversation. I think that's one of the hesitations I have, is like, ooh, it's going to be gross.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not going to be yummy, but I do it with a smile. And I feel like it's so much easier to hear it from me and have a better understanding of what it's like, because I've been through it. And so I can explain it in a different way than someone that maybe has never cleansed before. And I think that's what makes myself and Roger's Hood so viral, is that when you hear it in a different way than what you're expecting, it calms your anxiety.
Yeah.
Because it is gross. I mean, I'm not saying it's not gross. I mean, I'm shocked all day, every day. Every day I wake up when I wake up and I open up my phone, I'm like, okay, so what am I doing today? Right? Like, I'm going to do 2 podcasts. Oh, so I'm going to examine 15 worm pictures and try and figure out exactly where they're at in the poop, what it is, how it is, like, what did they use? Like, that's my mornings.
Why? Out of curiosity, why are you looking at people's poopy wormy poop pictures? Like, is this part of your job?
I mean, you send them, we identify them, we validate you, we make you feel better. It could be from our kit. So we definitely want you to know what's coming out of you, and just to hold someone's hand, just to know you're not alone in this journey is such an important part of it, because it helps calm your nervous system, which they've hijacked.
Yeah, right.
So, yeah.
Okay, so if we're using the Parify kit, we get a text message support from you in the form of
email, DMs, comments. We answer everything. I have between our 10,000 square foot manufacturing facility, because we make everything ourselves, that we built ourselves, to 30 employees. So we have half those employees make our tinctures and then our kits, and then the other half of them are in social media and in emails. This is not a journey, when I decided to do this 4 years ago, that I wanted to be alone on. And I was very fortunate that I had my TikTok community helping me out. That's how I got the name Worm Queen, is that I was crowned Worm Queen over on TikTok. And so I vowed that if I was able to continue doing this and I had a platform, I would never let anyone be by themselves, because we are so gaslit. And this is what my problem was. And again, I should have never had a surgery, but I didn't know any better. And so I can really stop people from continuing to do further damage by just holding their hand and listening to them and having them find their own answers.
Wow. I really like that. I honestly feel better knowing that that's like, it is, because the thing is it feels scary. The idea of a worm coming out of me scares me, right? I was scared, and that's because they're telling me to be scared. But also, like, it's like that would be actually such a mind F experience to look down in the toilet. Like, that was in, like, anyway. So, like, I just okay. I want to talk about
it, just so that people can feel what it feels like.
Oh.
It's really intrusive.
Yeah.
And it's out of control, because you always feel like you have control over your body. And now all of a sudden you're finding out that there's something else inside that potentially could be controlling you. And it is an uncomfortable feeling. And it is something that not all of us want to know, but 95% of us have parasites. We've never cleansed. We've never done this. No matter how great you eat, my best friend, Sam Bruno, the co-host of our podcast, What's Eating You, she had hundreds come out her nose when she did my cleanse.
her nose.
her nose. It's her exit point. Mine is my skin and urine, and hers is her nose. And we talk about it all the time because they're in her lymphatic, and she has pinworms. So it's very threadworm, pinworms, same thing. It's really difficult. They actually can produce a lot. So like a tapeworm can produce up to 1 million eggs a day. They have 46 uteruses in each segment. So when you start something like this, you just know that they're going to be laying the eggs and you got to go in and clean them out. And that's the problem with a lot of cleanses that are out on the market and a lot of things that are out there. And even eating anti-parasitic foods, you can make them feel inhospitable, and then they're kind of like, okay, that's it. And then they're blowing up in your body. So it's really important to know a system and to have a binder and to remove heavy metals because they're dropping them because they can hold 6 to 8 times their weight in heavy metals, viruses, and spores. So it's really important. And that's kind of the piece of it that I'm smiling, but in the back end, I'm like, listen,
Yeah. Damn.
you know,
Oh, I think we just found the pull quote for this episode. A tapeworm has 46 uteruses.
can produce 1 million eggs a day,
Well,
if you make them mad.
if you make
They're
them,
they're so smart. They're really smart. They're evaders. They know how to not get caught. We don't have good testing in our country. So there's a lot of like factors that are involved when it comes to parasites. And I think that's why a lot of Western medicine doctors and practitioners don't really know what to do because there isn't a lot of black and white book reading about it. It's been something that's been missed over the last 101 years. And coming from that world of academia, I understand why. I understand how it got missed and I understand why it got missed. And I know people are always like, oh, it's because they want us to keep sick. But like it is that, but at the same time, it also has to do with things get changed in our educational books.
right.
And if you're being told, oh, it's Western medicine, it's first world country, they just remove those things. And then how are you to know later in life and future life that that was that important that got removed?
I mean, so like parasitology is a field of study and research and specialty. But like you're saying, like in general medical parlance, like is like are parasites never talked about, or just like kind of little dusting on top? Much like nutrition is never really taught.
Right.
It's like, yeah, you go to a weekend conference and you get your nutrition, credits or whatever. Is it like just not taught?
Yes,
Or-
it's just not taught. Where I did not include this when I wrote 6 weeks worth of curriculum for allied health people. They got 3 minutes in a lab to look at the stool, and if all of a sudden you don't see anything, then you stamp the lab slip not in lieu of a parasitic activity, right? So infection. So it'll say negative, and then if you look at the bottom of your LabCorp Quest reports, it says not in lieu of a parasitic infection. And it's because they're not seeing an egg or anything that they have been trained to see. So then they move on. My stool went to Mexico. The same stool went to LabCorp. LabCorp said negative. Mexico said you have Cryptosporidium parvium and roundworm. And it's because that's all the parasitologists look at. And our country doesn't think this is serious. So a lab technician in a lab is looking at your stool, and then the stool sat out for days, and it, like it wasn't refrigerated. Things are dead in there and absorbed. Like there's so many things that could potentially have gone awry with your stool. So there's not good testing. We don't have accurate, available, affordable testing. So that's really why I'm like, just cleanse like 3 to 4 times a year. Just be proactive at this point in your life to understand that this is a thing and that we're all susceptible to it because we eat salmon and we walk barefoot and we have pets and we go in lakes and all the things that other countries are like, yeah, you guys are, I mean, all day long comments are like, you people are crazy.
Every country is like side-eyeing us, like
Totally.
oh my god.
They're like, Mexico, I'll have them pop in, right?
Yeah.
Because I end up a lot on that side of TikTok or Instagram, and you know it because you see all the translations in the comments, and I'll hit translate this, and they're like, "What's wrong with you people? Like, we do this 3-4 times a year. We go to the pharmacy, we grab ourselves a synthetic anti-parasitic, and we take it. And sometimes it's mandatory in schools, sports, specific surgeries. You need to take an anti-parasitic prior and get your blood work and do a stool test. We're just like out here going, oh, we're fine. We're the sickest country in the world.
Yeah. Well, not me, because I'm one of the 5% that doesn't have it. I've decided.
The worms decided for you.
That's right. Okay. I want to get at, like, this conversation has been really fun. Like, and it is still fun, and it's still going to be fun. I hope. But I do want to get kind of into the tactics here, because so we're all health coaches listening, and it sounds to me like what you just said was just do a cleanse. Like, you don't have to go to the doctor and get this prescribed to you, right? So I guess that's where my confusion was. It's like what kind of weird stuff what kind of weird stuff are these cleanses made of? But you're saying these are just herbal tinctures.
Yeah.
Completely safe, no downside to it.
You're going to have some die-offs. You're going to have headache, skin breaks. You're going to have some irritable bowels, like, because things are dying off in your body and they pee and poop in our bodies. So if you have like an ammonia smell a lot, that means you have a parasite, and it's definitely peeing in your body.
They're in our bodies, guys.
Yeah, they're peeing and pooping in our body. And that's why you get headaches. If you fast and you get a headache, you have a parasite. And it's because it's peeing and pooping in your body, and your body is doing what it's supposed to be doing, alerting you and trying to recover that issue and figure out what's going on. And the problem with environmental toxins is they get encased in a thing called a biofilm or mucus. And so with a lot of other cleanses, it's not breaking that biofilm or mucus. So you need to have a biofilm buster. And I learned that with my own cleanses, and that's why I did what I did. But we use things like clove and garlic and cilantro and dandelion root. We all know what these things are. Yeah. It's just a matter of how synergistically I put them in the tinctures and allowed your body to process these herbs, pushing out parasites and worms and mold and candida, and binding them together, not getting reabsorbed. So it's not a matter of anything harmful. It's really how I process each one of those tinctures. It's just making them ourselves and soaking the herbs. And it's just an art that hasn't been utilized a lot. And I just really feel like the herbs that we eat every day is medicine. So
yeah. Cool. Okay. Because I'm always thinking about health coaching scope of practice. Mm-hmm. I'm extremely staunch about it. And just to reiterate for anybody listening who hasn't heard me say this 100 times, health coaching scope of practice is health coaching scope of practice is health coaching scope of practice. It doesn't matter if your school gave you a designation that calls you a functional health coach or a diagnostic health coach. You're a health coach. And so we don't have diagnostic, we're not qualified for this. We're not qualified to do any prescribing or anything of this kind. So that's the reason I was asking this. But so it sounds to me that if I have a client, which I do, virtually every client I have who's low energy, brain fog, their vocal acuity, you were talking about their speech patterns, and that's a symptom that I see a lot in my menopausal clients. Like, I can't get words out anymore. Bowel stuff, bloating, gas, whatever. Symptoms. What I could say is, before we do anything, I'd love for you to just perform this parasite cleanse. So you could do that as like a clearing the decks, I would say, before you move into, the basics of nutrition and lifestyle stuff. Would you say that's a reasonable way of doing it? Or could it be done in conjunction? Or do you think it's good to do it? Like, is it the kind of thing you want to get out of the way before? Yes. Okay, yeah.
You want to clean your soil, right? We've never cleaned our soil. We've never changed the oil in our cars.
Right.
All of the analogies, right? We've never done any of these things. How do you expect our bodies to absorb the nutrients when 90% of it could be being absorbed by something else? How do you start out with a clean slate? You got to clean it out. You got to move out the toxins that are inhibiting you from getting better. It's causing a miss. And what is that miss? Well, let's knock it out. Let's see. Is it parasites? Is it mold? Do you have Lyme? It's things starting to absorb in a way that it's not helping your body. Are they absorbing into something else? And so really starting and cleaning your soil and getting that going is going to be a good start. And you're going to see people improve faster and have better results because you clean their soil to help build their foundation in their house.
Got you. Okay, cool. So what is the process? Like, please get into the weeds. Like, how many days is it? What does it feel like? What do you have to do? Is it cool to ask that question? Like,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Like, just take me through.
It's 30 days. It's 3 tinctures, 3 times a day, 15 drops of each tincture, and you bind at night.
You bind at night. What does that mean?
You take a cinnabon, which is our coconut activated charcoal, and our Ceylon cinnamon, and it helps bind the toxins, allowing them to not reabsorb back into your body.
Oh, I see.
So it binds it and it pushes it out. Now, if you're constipated, we say don't bind, but there's enough going on in your body with all of the herbs that it's okay that you can't bind every single day. But we do recommend binding anytime you do any sort of detoxing, including hyperbaric chamber oxygen, you should bind, massage, you should bind, because you're moving your lymphatic system. And as we all know, the lymphatic system is the sewer of our body. So when you start to move that, things are just kind of erupting inside. And so you should bind at nighttime or during the day. We say at night because it's the easiest for people to remember this. This is their first time ever doing this. So I really made it so that it's super easy. I did it because my husband needs to cleanse, and I created the kit so that he would find it easy and cleanse his body, because everyone should be doing this.
Yeah. No, I mean, I love that information, because I feel it has to be easy.
Simple.
You know, because simple because it's because there's just so much unpleasantness
Yes.
around this whole thing. It's like, so if so I want to know the experience is like, and I'm sure it's different for everybody, but I'm going to take these 15 drops of these 3 tinctures, and I'm going to do my binder at night. When I wake up the next morning, is it like Pompeii? Like, what's happening? What do I see? What's going on?
Some people, I mean, I even made the labels simple.
Oh yeah. Sustain. Okay.
This is my favorite. This is 3 tinctures. I use this for my Lyme. It helps calm it down. It has usnea, which is Mother Nature's doxycycline, which is what they give Lyme patients because it paralyzes the actual Lyme itself. And so I'm going to show you guys how easy it is. That's it. I'm done.
What?
I'm done.
That was your 15 drops just in one shot, though.
That's it. That's it. You put in water, tea, juice. Some people don't like the taste of it. It's alcohol and bitter, but it absorbs immediately into my bloodstream. There's no fighting with inside of my gut. It's just going in and taking care of everything, starting from your mouth all the way down. So it's just a simple way of doing it. It's just one of the best ways I found. People have pill fatigue. They're exhausted by trying to remember everything. And you just got to get the herbs in your body. That's really all it is. Let them do their thing. Your body can process the herbs.
Oh man, herbs. This is just a little random side story. I was at a botanical garden. Why wouldn't I be? Just chilling in a botanical garden, but it had an herb garden, and it was like culinary herbs and different kinds of herbs. And there was a whole section of medicinal herbs, and we weren't allowed to pick them, or, you were just able to look at them. But it was like, at that moment, I thought to myself, like, there's something that I don't contemplate herbs. I don't I guess I'm just so freaking allopathic, or just so mainstream in my thinking, that it's like, oh yeah, herbs. Oh yeah, cultures have used them for millennia. Oh yeah. If like insane that I don't even understand them. And I'm a holistic nutritionist, by the way, too. I think I might have fallen asleep in that part of the class. But I do want to know, are you immediately pooping out worms? Okay, there, I said it. Or they come out of your nose and skin, though.
Some people immediately, some people poop out worms. Not everyone has physical worms. Some have things like crypto, like I had. I had crypto for sporidium parvium, which is parvo, which kills puppies. I had that. That's microscopic. You can't see it. My husband had D. fragilis, which is in the Giardia family. It was from our water. And then you can see roundworm, but you have to dig. So there's like three types of cleansers. There's flushers, lookers, and diggers. And I'm not a digger, but when I saw mine within 3 days, they were just floating. I didn't have to dig. I just saw them. I mean, it was like PTSD a little bit. And I didn't have anybody to talk with. I just hopped on my phone and was talking to my community on TikTok. So now I made sure everyone has people to talk with. But it's such a weird experience because it's scary. But as soon as you start to feel better, you forget how scary it is.
Yeah.
The minute you feel better, you're like, oh my God, I'm validated. I was so validated in that moment, I got angry, to be honest with you.
Yes.
Why was I lied to? I can't even believe it. And then I immediately went into, should I have never had a hysterectomy? Was this really what was going on in those moments? Like, are you kidding me right now? And then I'm like, well, I can't go back with regret because it's done, it's over, and I'm just going to sit in it. And I don't want to do that. I need to stay solution based. Like, what's the solution here? The solution is we should all be doing this. Now I'm going to grab my phone and I'm going to tell everybody.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to get all the answers in my comments and I'm going to go research it. And that's really how you're your own advocate.
Yeah. I do want to dive into, so you've been sharing this on TikTok. Is that your predominant social platform, is it?
Not anymore. No,
Oh.
TikTok has censored me heavily. So my predominant is now Instagram, and I have migrated myself over because of my own podcast over to YouTube. But Instagram really is it now. And in person, we travel a lot now because it's really important for me to meet with people and to show people that like this is really making its way off of your phone, right?
Okay. So, but you recorded your entire healing journey. Did you say for 4 years every day? Did I get that right? Every year for every day for 4 years.
I recorded myself every day for 4 years. You can watch my progression of health.
So what did you record though? Like talking face to camera, talking head, or were you sharing photos of what was in the toilet? Like what was on these videos? Everything goes, anything goes?
Everything. At the beginning, I shared and I talked more than I talk now. Now I do green screening just so you can see my face and you can do a comparison. I'll do YouTube. I'll do podcasts. I've done podcasting for 2 years. And I love it because I can talk more than just 15 seconds like what I normally just were talking. I shared my whole journey and I'll pop in and I'll share like something new that I've learned that I want other people to be able to go research. But it really has been more about like how you physically can see and then you can hear. I used to talk a lot slower. I used to have stumbling of my words. You could see where I would edit my videos because it was harder for me to get words out. And now I can almost do it all in one cut where I don't need to edit any of my stuff. So really you can see this. I was very ill. I think did they send you a picture? I was very ill. I'll show you how sick I really was so your viewers can see the difference in where I'm at now.
Oh my. Whoa. Okay. So your face is like a lot puffier. What else? What else are you seeing? Like, what would you describe there? Like a lot of
pounds.
Fat. You were okay.
I was heavy. I used to snowboard, so I don't. I was an athlete, and I was very health conscious. So that just shows how fast it can take you down when you are around environmental toxins. But just brain fog, swelling, I just could never lose the inflammation, and I wasn't really that much heavier. It was like I'm 6 dress sizes, which is a lot, but it was also a lot of inflammation and a lot of not understanding my body and not going poop. That was a big one. That's what started. I went 30 days.
Without pooping?
Yes.
Oh my God.
That's what started it all.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Can you tell by looking at other people?
Yes.
You can.
Yeah. And I know what they have normally.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I can tell when someone has tape or round or pin. because of the different signals that are on their face. Like tapeworm is very deep circles under your eyes and a lot of discoloration.
Well, good thing I'm in that 5%. I'm just kidding. My camera puts an actual filter on my skin texture. I don't know why it does this. Thank God, because I just don't, I'm not ready to be diagnosed.
I was gonna ask you. I'm like, she has a filter. I can't see the real
I know.
of
I
it.
don't know
But
why it does this.
well, I was on this cruise and our bartender was kind of walking around and I wasn't meaning to like stare her down or look her up and down, but I'm like, she's got something going on with her. Right? I could just tell immediately that something was wrong with our bar. Her name was Olympia and she's amazing. We're friends now. But I was like staring at her and I'm like, oh, should I tell her like I'm on vacation? Like the spirit, people say that, but like something is like prompting me to tell this chick something's wrong with her. And so everyone cleared the bar and I'm sitting there and my husband and we started talking because my husband and I were really poor. I took us down to nothing because I was so chronically ill. We were living in a trailer, building our own log home. Like I was very ill. We got our affairs in order. I almost died. And so I'm sitting there telling her this. And then she's like, well, what brought you into like being on a cruise in a suite? And I'm like, well, I mean, I went viral over worms. Ha ha ha. And she goes, stop it. And I said, you have roundworm, don't you? And she goes, yes. She pulled out all her labs. She showed me where it was coming out of her, like out of her scalp, and it had like ruined her hair and that her dog gave it to her.
Oh.
And she just got antiparasitics and she had no idea what to do with them all. The doctor in Turkey didn't really explain it all. And so she showed me her lab work. Her EOS was super high. And she goes, how did you know? And I'm like, your body, your hair, and your skin. Total tall tale signs. She's great now. She's gained some weight back. She looks fabulous. Her hair's grown back. She's perfect. She's on Instagram modeling and stuff. She's just doing fantastic. But you can tell when someone's internal health is taking a toll on their external health. So you can tell when someone has an environmental toxin they're fighting against and they don't even know it.
Wow. I'm astonished and amazed and grateful and like mind blown at this, I guess. 95% of us have parasites. So this is something we should all be taking seriously. I mean,
Yes.
I'm probably not, I don't know if this is on the same level, but I have to worm my horses twice a year.
Right.
And then I go out there and nuzzle them and kiss them on the nose. It's like,
well, and you're stepping where they've gone poop.
yeah.
And then they're microscopic. And then you come back. And if you step in that area again, say you hit your socks there or you don't realize that you've touched something and then you go like this, you're the best host. Yeah. So every single time you're around an animal, you're deworming them, deworm yourself. And you could even, because now I know that you're around horses, you should take, and if you haven't gotten the Parify kit, we'll make sure you do, but you should just take it preemptively, proactively before you go out there with your horses and deworm them. You should be deworming them and yourself. So that's really where I think that's been a miss as well. But I got the same ones as my dog. That's how I know my dogs gave me parasites.
Damn. Okay. I really appreciate you just like journeying all over the place here with me. I had every intention of having a very methodical conversation, but then it was like the worms took over my brain. I blame the worms, quite honestly.
Blame the worms. We blame my Lyme. If I'm having a moment, my husband will be like, all right, Limey.
My 14-year-old niece rolled her eyes and said, is it perimenopause? It was the funniest thing. I'm like, yes, it is. Okay. Apparently she's sick of hearing about it. But
I think this will help perimenopausal people. Your hormones can get off balance when things are stolen. And so it can help all of us. The brain fog, the fatigue, like mine go away. And then I'll just hop on some of my herbs if all of a sudden I'm feeling like, oh, I don't want to do a whole cleanse, but I just want to kind of put things at bay, right?
Yeah. This is actually one of the reasons why I'm deeply curious, and despite my nervousness, to try it, because I'm 49 years old, so I'm kind of like in the thick of the perimenopause. You
Hmm.
were surgically put into it, so but
I'm going through it now, even though I was surgically put into it. My body is starting to like come back and adjust, and I can tell.
yeah,
And I probably wouldn't be in the situation I'm in with it adjusting the way it's adjusting if I hadn't been cleansing, right? So I am in that age right now at 46, almost 47 years old, that I would naturally be going through this. And
yeah,
so that's how I do know, even though I actually was chemically put in first. I was on Lupron twice
okay,
to stop my endo, and then they surgically put me into it 20 years ago. And I've been on estradiol, but I don't have to take as much. So that's how I know what I'm doing is actually working, because now I want to age that way naturally without all of these meds.
right. So that's the thing I'm thinking though is that first of all, so many of the menopause symptoms are symptoms of other things too. Like I don't want to downplay the menopause transition, but it's like because my specialty is metabolism, and I'm not going to get into the weeds on that here, but one of the the weight gain or the brain fog, well, those are metabolic symptoms too. And so like that just sort of has been building over time. It's almost like it's a coincidence in a manner of speaking that you get into your 40s and it's like all of a sudden my health took a turn. It's like, well, actually you just spent 40 plus years not really taking great care of yourself.
Yeah.
So it's like, what do you think was going to happen at age 45? Like it was all going to catch up with you. But like I'm very, very interested in like what part of these symptoms could I claw back some power. For example, I started having joint pain. That was a symptom that I got from menopause. I was like, well, you know what though? Maybe I've been eating a lot more dairy. Maybe it's, or sugar. I'm going to do an elimination diet first just to see if that helps with the inflammatory piece. It didn't, but it's like, that's the kind of thing that I want to do. I want to like, what can I do first before I automatically blame this on some unavoidable medical condition that you know what I mean? Like it feels very powerless to say, oh, menopause, everything sucks
Yep.
now. I don't believe that. So anyway, I just think I'm really curious to try this. My curiosity's been piqued. I think my curiosity has now officially overpowered my nervousness and the ick factor that I was having before.
Yeah.
I'm ready to
Because
try.
your joint pain's going to go away, Erin.
I
You're going to
know.
feel better. They live in our joints because they live in mucus and they live in that fluid, and they have a biofilm that the body's pushing against and it doesn't understand. And you're going to support your body, and you're going to be able to get a more clear understanding: is your symptoms actually this, or are your symptoms actually
Exactly.
menopause? And how would you know unless you've actually cleaned your soil?
Exactly. This is just to hang on that for one more second. If joint pain, let's use that as an example. If joint pain is the symptom, we can't just say menopause
Right.
and hope to hell that your estrogen patch is going to fix it. What if it doesn't? Then you're going to feel so discouraged. It's like, well, what else could it be? And frankly, up until today or this week, as I dove into your wormhole, it hadn't occurred to me.
Welcome.
Like, welcome to my wormhole. It hadn't occurred to me like, oh, there's a whole universe inside of me that I hadn't considered, and now I will. If you've really done a great job, I have to say, of making it feel accessible and not spooky. So I really appreciate that.
Yeah, you're welcome. Who wants to be spooked by the body? I want people to have fun, love it, understand it, appreciate it. This is the only one we get. This is our temple. It's protecting our soul. We really need to keep it clean and, 80/20, man. You don't need to like go to so extreme that you don't be able to live a human life, but you also need to be really proactive and aware that this is a real thing and that it really could be contributing to you not feeling well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Kim, I'm so grateful. You've been podcasting all day, so I do want to let you go and relax. So let's finish up the way podcasts always finish up. Tell our listeners where to learn more about Parify and all the stuff you're doing.
You can find me on rogershood.com. That's our website. You can find me if you Google Kim Rogers Worm Queen. You can also go to my socials. It's Mrs. Rogers Hood. That's MRSROGERSHOOD. On Instagram, it's rogers.hood. So Mrs. Rogers.hood. And you can find me on my podcast, What's Eating You, with the letter U. And we just started that one. That we're going into our second season. We're really excited. We're showing everyone how to use modalities and exactly what happened to me and more in depth. And Sam, my best friend, she was a pop star and she has fallen down the wormhole with me. So she'll talk about hers. And we like to showcase small businesses so you can see different modalities and small businesses. It's really a great podcast.
Amazing. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you very much, Kim. This was super enlightening and fascinating as well. And honestly, I joked before we started recording, I'll probably only go for like 35, 40 minutes. Look at us. I literally don't want to stop talking. There's just so many things to think about here, but you've given us a lot and I'm really grateful. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
This podcast was brought to you by Primal Health Coach Institute. To learn more about how to become a successful health coach, get in touch with us by visiting primalhealthcoach.com/call. Or if you're already a successful health coach, practitioner, influencer, or thought leader with a thriving business and an interesting story, we'd love to hear from you. Connect with us at hello@primalhealthcoach.com and let us know why we need to interview you for Health Coach Radio. Thanks for listening.